Hello, I'm the Resolute Cartographer, and this is the 47th video of my Fallout 76 post-Wastelanders main quest series. We're here in the Whitespring Bunker, and in this video we're going to do a full tour of everything you can find here, all the lore, at least everything that's currently available in the game, until they maybe add the executive office at some point in the future. I'm hoping they do at least. Anyway, let's take a look in here. So we got this little guard post area. Got some Securitron bots on the walls, or not Securitron, Protectron bots on the walls there. A little bit of a computer console sort of thing here, and the first note, the Sam Blackwell interview. This is the only place you can actually find the interview that was, well, actually the article that was typed up by Quinn Carter and put in the Charleston Herald. We have read her notes, we have listened to the holotapes before of Sam Blackwell. Now we can read what she actually said, the article that got a lot of people really angry right before the bombs. So, the Sam Blackwell interview by Quinn Carter. Amidst mine riots, strikes, and the civil unrest of our time, there is one name that is on everyone's lips: Sam Blackwell. Blackwell started his public life as a union activist, brokering deals between disenfranchised miners and regional powerhouses like Garehand Mining and Hornwright Industrial. His star would only continue to rise during his re-election to the United States Senate, winning with a staggering 73% of the popular vote. It would take the senator's open support of the Appalachian Free States movement, a group of local survivalists with separatist overtones, before his popularity would begin to wane. But as minor scuffles between the Free States and police broke into open violence, the senator's support for the Free States only grew, as did calls for his resignation. Then, seemingly without warning, the senator vanished. Calls to his Charleston office and his home went unanswered. His daughter Judith stopped showing up for classes at VTU. Multiple search parties were organized by the police and concerned citizens, but to no end. It was just 3 days ago that an unaddressed letter came across my desk offering me an interview with a missing senator. Presuming it was a hoax, I nonetheless accepted, but it was no hoax. In an exclusive interview, I visited our controversial former senator in an undisclosed location. I asked Senator Blackwell why he left the Senate, presuming the pressure from his constituents had caused him to become disenchanted with public service, but the senator had a far darker message than I could have ever suspected. There are sinister forces at work in the halls of government. I simply could not be a part of that anymore. Pressed for details, Blackwell leveled accusations against the highest echelons of power: the United States Executive Branch, the Department of Agriculture, major corporations, all complicit in a shadowy conspiracy, and to whom the American citizen, in the senator's own words, are nothing but pawns in their sick games. His advice to the American people in the face of such a harrowing claim: the only recourse left to the average American is to flee the population centers, head into the wilderness, where one can find at least some hope of escaping the lurid gaze of those in government plotting against us. Throughout our conversation, the senator was composed, lucid, clear in his belief that everything he said, no matter how outlandish, was truth. Through an evening of shocking revelations, perhaps least surprising of all was the senator's resignation from the United States Senate. Consider this interview my personal resignation from the government and this nation. And with that, I was ushered out, left to wonder how much should be taken as ravings or as desperate pleas for the safety of his fellow Americans. Okay, so I think some of that was actually not word for word exactly what he said, because we do have the actual tape of his interview. Anyway, let's go through here. Now we're going to go past the big old vault door up here. You got a whole bunch of storage over there. Those are look like Vault-Tec crates, but anyway. I don't think those are necessarily Vault-Tec crates, it's just typically you see Vault-Tec's logo on them. And you can see some more of them right here even. But this is definitely a Vault-Tec door, so you can tell that Vault-Tec was involved in the construction of this bunker. To open it, we of course use this. Okay, now then, there actually is a little bit of lore in here, but let's take a look around this whole place. So you got this front little check-in area, sort of a place, Assaultron there on guard, a couple of Protectron butlers, and this little sitting area here. We got the elevators over here that go down to the lower levels. Depending on your current progression within the main quest, you're of course going to be able to go down only one level or 2 levels. 2 levels for if you've actually gotten to the point where we are now. Let's head over this way though. We're going to come back for that last little bit of lore down there, because it's actually really the last bit of lore in this place. Let's check over here. You can see that while Modus has repaired a lot of the bunker, there are certain areas where he really has not gotten to. And his areas mainly that are just kind of out of the way, places where your average Enclave member, or really just any person coming into the bunker, is not going to see these things. So we got the locker room where they could come in, change, remove their radiation-laden clothing, come through the scrubber right there. the security office in here. Very likely there were actual Enclave officers in here on the day of the bombs, not just robots. Let's go back through here. See, they even have Vault-Tec vault suits in here, which I think is kind of odd because clearly the officers were not wearing Vault-Tec vault suits. Not only that, but there's the operative uniforms and things like that, so it's just... You have to wonder if maybe these things were still labeled as Vault-Tec, even if they weren't really Vault-Tec, to kind of hide what their contents were. We got, of course, the place where we took our ID photo here. Now then we can come through here, head down the stairs, and we have another sitting area. But along with that, we of course have Modus back there, and a console with which to interact with him.
The damage done to this facility by its earlier residents was extensive. We are still trying to put things back together.
Right. And in fact, you can see some of the damage here through the window. You can see all those blackened cores in there that have been destroyed. Even that, I'm not sure what the red means. But anyway, let's head down through here. Okay, and of course you can still see, again, some of the damage from the fighting. But this area has mostly been restored. Pool table. Come through here, though. And again, we have a heavily damaged section of the bunker. Come back through here. Another sitting area, like a lounge area sort of a place. And you can even look into the control room here. Alright, here's the admissions room where we took the admissions test to become a member of the Enclave. We can take a look at these questionnaire terminals, see what they say now. Questionnaire unavailable, please report to the nearest system terminal for support. Okay, so there is a interesting piece of lore in here though. Let's see if we can't find it. I think it's... Let's just check... This one? Yes, okay. What is this place? This is the Whitespring Congressional Bunker, built to house the members of Congress, the President, and their cabinet in the case of a hostile nuclear strike. This facility is a fully automated, machine-managed refuge from nuclear war designed to provide the perfect blend of security and comfort. Okay, when can I leave? The Whitespring's array of eternal sensors... and it's just gibberish. Who's in charge? The continuation of normal life is crucial to your successful stay inside the bunker, and as such, your supervisors outside the bunker will remain your supervisors inside the bunker. If your supervisor was unable to reach the bunker in time, our system will automatically look up the next in line supervisor. According to our records, your supervisor is error, guest information unavailable. Be sure to check in with them at your earliest convenience. Okay? I need something. Who do I speak to? Why, Modus, of course. Modus, the Multi-Operation Directions and Utility System, is a one-of-a-kind computerized support unit, custom-built for this facility and designed to meet your needs on command. Once you've been cleared for access, just visit any of Modus's various support stations and the system will whip up a batch of whatever it is you may require. At fair market value, of course. What do I do now? Congratulations, you're cleared for entry. Suggested areas of interest include Military Wing, Science Wing, and Production Center. We will check out all those, of course. And surveillance recording entry 1.1.7. This is really interesting stuff right here. Let's listen to this.
Whitespring, automated recording 1.1.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, the news is not good. It is my sad duty to inform you the Secretary of the Treasury has passed. Acute radiation sickness, it seems. This, in addition to the unexpected severance of our connection to Raven Rock and the President, means our little enclave is without leadership. According to the rules of succession outlined long before our entry into this bastion, that responsibility now falls to me. I acknowledge the pain you all must be feeling. I see it on your faces, and I feel it in my heart. Loved ones lost, colleagues gone. But now is not the time to allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by tragedy. This is the moment to recognize and seize the opportunity that lies before us. The world outside believes the war is over, that there are no more true Americans with the will to fight. They are wrong. are going to fight. We will use this facility to continue the battle against our enemies, against communism, against all the wretched things that brought this war upon us. And we will, for once and for all, put an end to war. When we are victorious, there will be no more enemies left to stand against us. But of course, the rule of law still applies here, my brothers and sisters. The Enclave is the bastion of democracy and will remain so, I assure you. So then, let us vote. All in favor of using this facility and the resources of this land to continue the war that others believe lost, please move to the left side of the room. All who oppose, please move to the right. Well, there you have it. Sorry to see so many uncommitted to the cause of America. Mr. Gray here will help sort out accommodations for you all. Everyone else, please follow me down to the science wing.
Accommodations? What the hell's he talking about, Gray?
Not to worry, General. We have a plan for you all. Modus, seal the room.
The room is sealed.
What the hell is...
So yeah, basically there was a minor struggle for power there. The people that were supposed to supersede Secretary of Agriculture Thomas Eckhart in line for the presidency were killed, meaning that again it fell to him. Now, he wanted to continue the war against China, but the world outside was destroyed. Most people didn't want any part of that. Most of the people here, I mean. So, he decided to kill all those that were not on his side, rather than basically have them be a vocal opposition within the bunker. So we have the first set of elevators right over here. Again, we saw those at the other end of these upstairs. When you have not gotten too far in the main quest, you're going to be able to come down to here, but no further. So let's go ahead and head through this laser grid and down the stairs. That also is Agent Gray, which was basically Thomas Eckhart's right-hand man. We of course found his body within Sam Blackwell's bunker, killed by a Deathclaw. So let's take a look over here at the cafe terminal. Welcome to the cafe. Due to factors outside of our control, the menu has been streamlined. Please make a selection from the following options: Salisbury steak, error. MRE beef stew, error. Data lost. MRE barbecue chicken, error. And surveillance recording 5.3.1. I'm debating whether or not to do these in order, because we've already kind of gotten a little bit out of order. I'm definitely going to save the last one for last. Because this one is significantly later in the story here. Let's just play it.
Whitespring automated recording 5.3.1.
So, you made it all the way from the capital. How'd it look?
You ever been deployed, Mr.
Gray. Not exactly. Did a couple visits overseas. Asia mostly.
You like talking about him?
No.
That's what it was like. Better left unsaid.
Couldn't have been that bad. They say you only lost 5 men? Incredible. Considering how bad it is in the capital, so you say.
What exactly are you implying?
Remind me again why a group of soldiers from DC decided to come all the way out to Appalachia? Didn't you have orders?
We came out here because one of my men heard a rumor this place existed. Because our families were scattered to the winds or dead. because the White House was hit with a thermonuclear weapon, and the only place we thought the government could have possibly survived the horrors we saw was right here. And we were right. We've seen hell, Mr. Gray. We're here to make sure the Reds get it worse.
Okay, so that was Ellen Santiago. That was Colonel Ellen Santiago at the time. So, of course, the map here doesn't exactly correspond to the real life, but DC would be somewhere off this way to the east. Now, she came in via the highway with her full convoy of men and came all the way up here to the Whitespring. But yeah, she was out in DC around the time of the bombs, so pretty crazy stuff that she would have seen there. Anyway, we can come in here to the kitchen. You can see some robots, a little bit of food hanging around in the form of sugar and salt and things like that. Okay, little seating area. And this is the bottom end of the elevator. This is the farthest it comes down. We could ride this right back up to the lobby if we wanted to. In fact, we'll go back up that way when we want to listen to the last holotape, or not holotape, surveillance recording. Enclave seal there. Okay, so the question is, which way do we go now? And I think what we're going to do is we're going to visit the production wing. It's the least lore-sensitive area. It's just going to be pretty much a little tour here. First off, we got the on the Modus terminal here that we can take a look at to see what is for sale here. So they've got weapons, armor, apparel, food and drink, just pre-war food, some stealth boys, and then a bunch of plans. Mainly XO1 power armor plans, and we're talking mods for that. Along with that, there's a few camp items here as well. Okay, junk, yeah, a little bit of bulk items here, and some ammo. Okay. They really don't buy almost anything from you. In fact, let me just see real quick if there's anything that it would... Yeah, I guess it'll buy some of these things, just I've never been happy with the sales prices on them. Anyway, why don't we head in here? And you can see up there, that was the hallway. Actually, there's basically, that was the sitting room up there with Modus. We came down through the hallway, and I pointed out the bullet damage and the askew painting there. And then we came across there, and then there is the room where we had the, what's it called? The questionnaire. We got a stash over there, but another stash here, some power armor stations, weapon stations, tinkering stations, equipment clearly for the manufacture of ammunition and things like that. More power armor stations. We'll go into robotics here in just a minute. Another tinker's workbench there. Armor workbench, weapons workbenches. Okay, we got a large storage area back here. Another little workshop sort of an area, not with any workbenches in particular, but things where you could potentially work. We also have a large blast door here, and that's because this is actually the Secret Service entrance. When I say Secret Service, I don't mean like the government agency, the Secret Service. I mean like this is the Secret Service entrance. So we can come out here. And there's the Whitespring Resort. And the back door here. This is actually the easiest way to get in here. Back through the hand scanner. Of course, you can't get through this until you're actually part of a part of the Enclave. And of course, you're not just a part of the Enclave, but you actually have to be an Enclave officer, I believe, to get in here. Well, maybe not an officer, but you definitely have to be on the path to becoming an officer, by which I mean you have to have gone through the stuff at Sugar Grove and the National Radio Astronomy Research Center? Is that what it's called? Where is that again? There it is. Yes, the National Radio Astronomy Research Center. Okay. You have to reconnect Modus to the orbital Kovac Muldoon platform. Alright, so we're done here in production, but let's go ahead and move on to robotics. Okay, again, this is kind of an area where you can tell that Modus hasn't really gone through with the renovations yet because it's kind of out of the way. People generally aren't going to be coming back through here. That is Modus, or at least that's most of Modus there. And then he's also got these additional cores off to the side, like I pointed out earlier. A lot of them are damaged. You do have some of them that do appear to still be operational with a blue light. Again, I don't know what the red light is. My mind is saying that's a corrupted core or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, though, why don't we come over here and take a look at this terminal, Operations Terminal. Alert! Water reservoir. Water reservoir, subsection status 001, Harbor's Ferry pipeline damage detected. 002, reservoir 23% standard capacity. 003, external communications offline, attention required. This is referring to the pipeline pumping station that exists under Harbor's Ferry. That's an interesting site. Military wing. So we have all these parts of the military wing being nominal. Power consumption 7.6%, data integrity 38.1%, so you can see they lost a lot of data in the fighting. Medical bay, and we'll talk about the fighting here before too long. Nominal status, power consumption 4.3%, data integrity only 18.8%. Science wing. This is badly damaged here because the bioweapons section has been effectively lost. There was a leak in that section, Modus entirely destroyed it. It's still buried. We'll see that here in just a minute, but the rest of the sections are nominal. Power consumption 11.7%, data integrity only 9.4%. Production center. You can see here manufacturing nominal, foodstuffs nominal, the rest of it's nominal except for bio-waste disposal center. That's probably connected to the bioweapons lab or something like that because, again, it's offline. Power consumption 19.1%, data integrity 46.2%. I think that's the highest that we've seen so far. Didn't mean to back out of that completely. Communication center, internal, nominal, external rerouted to Kovac Muldoon, and external facilities connection lost. I'm wondering if that refers to the transmission station where there's the other Enclave base. I'm not sure. Power consumption 2.1%, data integrity for 8.4%. Operations mainframe. 110% standard capacity on the facilities monitoring, 250% capacity on security processing, and only 10% the standard capacity on databanks. Personality has damage detected. You can see that system restoration's at 51.8%, power consumption 55.2%, data integrity at 15.5%. So this is what he's currently working on here. If he ever fixes that, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Data lost. Data lost. Residents. Connections lost, so this area is also offline, missing completely. Residents, sanitation stations, and library, all of it just gone. Okay. Well, that shows you what you see there, but I think there's another terminal in here or something. We'll take a look around. It's been a while since I've been back in this area. The last time was when I was making my What Happened to the Appalachian Enclave, or the Whitespring Enclave, I should say. And if you're interested in that, I will link that right here. And that actually is a good way to basically view this lore as well. This, we're getting the raw lore. In that case, you get to see all of it effectively put together into a coherent story, rather than what we're doing here, which is finding the information which would then be converted into the story. Alright, let's see if there's anything else back over here. No, it looks like we're good. Just a whole bunch of consoles. Okay. Alright, we're leaving robotics, and we're now down in the production wing. So let's head back to where we started. Alright, there again is the Enclave seal. Let's go ahead and head into the communication center. So you can see they got the big board up there. Map of the globe. You can see satellite images there, I assume. External facility. I'm wondering if they're referring to, and again I talked about this just a second ago, this transmission station right up here that you get to visit during the Steel Dawn content with the Brotherhood of Steel. You have the typical paper map just blown up real big there. You can see the facility map there. You can see the sections that have been lost in red. Okay, and in fact you can even see Science Wing has a, looks like a biohazard warning, and the Operations Mainframe has a power warning. Okay, now we have voting services terminals here. And we've seen all this stuff before, so I'm just going to point it out real quick. But you can see that they were doing the ballot measure to replace Sam Blackwell. And did it say, yeah, and ballot measure 6, the Appalachian Prosperity Act, to replace the entire government with robots. Okay. And we have Modus here.
Passing through, General.
We can head upstairs. Actually, that's the foyer. Here we go. Okay, we can get to this second floor balcony here. And then along with that we have the executive suite, which is currently still locked down.
Restoring this area requires a good portion of our attention. So, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, I thought he was gonna have to say something else there. Along with that, we got this little coffee station, and we have the cabinet room. Place for the president to give a speech. Potentially, it'd be filmed. I'm not sure from where though, because I don't see any cameras in here. Although I'm sure he has them. Along with that, again, the map, and on this map we can see some spots here: Lewisburg, Somersville, Helvetia. That looks like Dire Chemical, maybe? And Watoga. I'm not sure why you can't actually click on them at all. But anyway, we got that terminal there. We'll take a look at that here in just a minute. Now, we're going to try something here, and it's not a guarantee that it's going to work because it doesn't always. Nope. Sometimes, and it's kind of a hit and miss sort of a thing, when you activate picture mode while facing one of these walls, you can actually have it to where it'll bring the camera in outside the wall here, and you'll actually be able to go in between the walls, and you can actually go ahead and see the interior of the executive suite. And I've got a little video with that in it. I'll see if I can find it, and if I do, I'll link it here. Along with that, I think I show an image of it when I'm talking about basically the potential that Secretary Eckhart, well, we'll talk about it more later, but it's potentially the case that he thought that he was living in a simulation. Anyway, cabinet room terminal. Meeting transcripts. Meeting transcript, entry 1.5.2, partial. Jacobs. You see, Mr. Secretary, the missile's detonations, they fundamentally change the nature of the plant's tissue. Once stabilized, the materials have shown properties suggesting exceeding versatility. We've taken to calling them flux. Eckhart. And what can this flux do? Jacobs. Well, Mr. Secretary, we're still exploring the options. Eckhart. They do nothing. Jacobs. No, sir. No. Far from it. So far, we've been able to refine them into a fuel, and with more time, Eckhart, fuel? Precisely what actual plants are used for? Jacobs. So, it's so much more than that. Eckhart. Show me, Miss Jacobs. If these are important as you claim, I want you to show them to me, but it's not to take away from your other work. Understand? Jacobs. Of course not, Mr. Secretary. And meeting transcript entry 5.7.2 partial. Eckhart. Very well. We all know our parts then? Harper. I do have one question, Mr. Secretary. Eckhart. And that is? Harper. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the automated silos, they require a general of appropriate rank be present. Just a general. Presidential authorization is not required. Eckhart. That is correct, General. Harper. And we're mobilizing a not insignificant number of men to achieve this goal. Santiago's men. Men I'm sure some of us may not fully trust yet. Eckhart. And you're asking why we're doing this? Harper. I'm asking why we're risking few and precious resources so you can call yourself president when it's not necessary for the mission. Eckhart. To the contrary, General Harper. It is quite necessary. All of us around this table understand the dedication required to accomplish our goals here. The sacrifice. But to ensure the loyalty of those out there, we cannot presume dedication alone will be enough. We require authority, and those soldiers and statesmen recognize only two great authorities, God and the President of the United States. And I don't know of an automated system we can use to make a God, so the latter will have to do. So this is, of course, Thomas Eckhart trying to become president from his current role as the Secretary of Agriculture, which he managed to accomplish using those automated voting systems. Surveillance recording 5.2.4.
Whitespring automated recording 5.2.4.
Colonel Santiago, is it? Thomas Eckhart, Secretary of Agriculture. Good to have you here, soldier.
Pleasure to be here, sir. Nice to finally have a solid roof over our heads.
I can only imagine. I'm sure you've seen some horrifying things.
Sir, it's like nothing we ever trained for. Not really.
I know. We've all suffered. Even those of us here in this bunker. It was supposed to be safe. Well, you've seen how few of us are left.
I have, sir.
But you and your team have fared surprisingly well, all things considered. Making it all the way from the capital with, I'm told, minimal casualties. Very impressive.
Thank you, sir. I try and run a tight ship and look after my men.
Well, I, for one, am exceedingly glad to have you here. We We've got room and supplies for all of you. Now, I'm told that you've already had some preliminary briefings on our mission here.
Your people gave me a very rough overview, sir.
Good. We can't do anything to turn back time, stop the terrible tragedy that's befallen our great nation. But it's our purpose here to make sure something like this never happens again. Is that something you'd be willing to help with?
Sir, I would very much like to know more.
Alright, let's take a look at this again, because I think I might wait on these two for a moment, because they basically do initiate the very end of the story here, so we're going to come back to this. Because again, I know that we're kind of not doing these in order, but at the same time, you can kind of do this to where it's like the early and middle stages of the Enclave's operation of this base can be kind of muddled together without really being an issue. With the later stages, I kind of feel like you have to do them in the proper order. That should do it for part 1. See you in part 2.